Imagine receiving a Snapchat from a friend you thought you'd lost forever. This chilling story delves into the eerie intersection of modern technology and death, where the lines between the living and the departed blur in unsettling ways. As we explore this haunting narrative, you'll find yourself questioning the very nature of communication in our digital age. What happens when a seemingly innocent app becomes a conduit for the supernatural? Join me as I unravel this spine-tingling tale that perfectly aligns with Twisted Tales' theme of contemporary horror. Prepare to be captivated by the intrigue of a world where even the dead can reach out, leaving us to wonder who or what is really behind the screen. Alex and I met during our freshman year of college. We were paired as roommates, and though our personalities initially clashed, we soon discovered a shared passion for adventure and a knack for getting into the most absurd situations. We'd drive for hours with no destination in mind, ending up in small towns and making friends with strangers over coffee at 3 a.m. One time, we even got lost in a forest during a camping trip and spent the night huddled around a fire, swapping ghost stories to keep our minds off the eerie sounds around us. Our bond grew stronger with each passing year. Alex was the kind of friend who knew when I needed a laugh and when I needed silence. We made a pact to always have each other's back, no matter what. When we graduated, we promised to stay in touch, no matter where life took us. But then, the accident happened. I remember the day I got the call. It was a rainy afternoon, and I was at work typing away at my desk. My phone buzzed, and I saw it was Alex's mom. I picked up, expecting to hear Alex's voice on the other end, but instead, I was met with sobs and the words that would change everything. Alex is gone. The details of the accident were too painful to process. All I knew was that my best friend was gone forever. The days that followed were a blur of grief and numbness. I attended the funeral, standing in the pouring rain as we laid Alex to rest. I couldn't bring myself to believe it was real. How could someone so full of life be gone in an instant? I found myself visiting our old haunts, trying to feel close to him, but it only made the loss more acute. It took months before I could begin to move forward. I threw myself into work, trying to fill the void with busyness. But no matter how hard I tried, the memories of Alex lingered, a constant reminder of the friendship that had been so cruelly cut short. Life had settled into a monotonous routine, the pain of Alex's loss dulled but never forgotten. It was during one of those ordinary evenings, as I sat on my couch scrolling through social media, that my phone pinged with a notification. I glanced at the screen, and my heart nearly stopped when I saw the name, Alex. At first, I thought it was a cruel prank. Someone must have hacked into Alex's account, I reasoned. But curiosity got the better of me, and with trembling hands, I opened the Snapchat. The image that greeted me was a blurry selfie of Alex, grinning as if nothing had happened. The caption read, "Miss you, buddy. Let's catch up soon." I dropped my phone, my mind reeling. This had to be a joke. But who would be so heartless as to use Alex's account like this? I picked up my phone again, staring at the image, hoping for some logical explanation. But as I looked closer, I noticed something strange about the photo. The background was familiar. It was the park we used to hang out in. A chill ran down my spine as I realized that the photo had been taken recently. I spent the rest of the night in a state of shock. I couldn't sleep, my mind racing with questions. How could this be happening? Was someone playing a sick joke on me, or was there something more sinister at play? The next day, I reached out to a few mutual friends, asking if they had received any strange messages from Alex's account. But no one else had experienced anything unusual. The following nights were restless. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Alex's face, his smile frozen in that haunting image. I found myself jumping at every notification, dreading the possibility of another message. Days passed without incident, and I began to convince myself that it had been a one-time occurrence, a glitch, or a hacker who had since moved on. As days turned into weeks, the Snapchats from Alex became a haunting routine, arriving like clockwork at 3 a.m. The first few nights I tried to convince myself it was all a bad dream, but each morning, the messages were still there, staring back at me from my phone's screen. Each notification felt like a ghostly whisper in the dead of night, pulling me deeper into a chilling spiral that I couldn't escape. The content of the Snapchats began to change. Initially, they were playful selfies of Alex, the kind we used to exchange when we were both alive and carefree. But soon, they morphed into something far more sinister. Dark shadows, cryptic phrases, and eerie locations started to populate my feed. Each new image sent shivers down my spine, making me dread the inevitable ping at 3 a.m. One night, I received a message that sent my heart racing. It was a photo of the desolate park we used to visit, the place where we'd spent countless evenings talking about life, dreams, and everything in between. The caption read, "I'm still here." The familiarity of the location, now cloaked in an eerie emptiness, made my blood run cold. It was as if Alex was trying to reach out from beyond the grave, reminding me of his presence in a place that once held happy memories. With every notification, my paranoia deepened. I started to see shadows where there were none, hear whispers in the silence of my home. The once comforting solitude of my apartment became a prison of fear. I questioned my sanity, wondering if I was losing my mind or if something far more sinister was at play. The fear was palpable, an ever-present weight that pressed down on me, making it hard to breathe. I tried to talk to my friends about what was happening, but their reactions only made things worse. Most of them laughed it off, attributing the messages to a cruel prank or a hacker with too much time on their hands. But one friend, Sarah, looked at me with a mix of concern and curiosity. She suggested that maybe, just maybe, it wasn't a prank. Her words hung in the air, adding to the growing sense of dread that had taken over my life. Sarah's suggestion planted a seed of doubt in my mind. What if Alex really was trying to communicate with me from the other side? The idea seemed ludicrous, but I couldn't shake it. I began to obsess over the messages, analyzing every detail, every pixel of the photos. I stayed up late into the night, scouring the internet for stories of similar experiences, hoping to find some explanation that would make sense of the madness that had taken over my life. The more I read, the deeper my fear grew. I stumbled upon forums and articles about digital hauntings, tales of spirits using technology to reach out to the living. The stories were eerily similar to my own, filled with accounts of loved ones receiving messages from beyond the grave. Each new story I read added to the weight of dread pressing down on me, making it harder to dismiss the possibility that Alex was somehow trying to reach me. Desperate for clarity, I decided to take Sarah's advice and seek out a paranormal expert. It felt ridiculous, like something out of a horror movie, but I was willing to try anything to find answers. I found a local expert named Dr. Emily Carter, who had a reputation for dealing with cases of electronic voice phenomena and digital hauntings. I reached out to her, explaining my situation in a shaky voice. Dr. Carter agreed to meet with me, and a few days later, I found myself sitting in her dimly lit office, surrounded by books on the supernatural and various strange artifacts. She listened patiently as I recounted my experiences, nodding thoughtfully as I spoke. When I finished, she leaned back in her chair, her expression serious. Electronic voice phenomena, or EVP, is a well-documented phenomenon, she explained. It's possible for spirits to communicate through electronic devices, using them as a conduit to reach the living. What you're describing sounds like a classic case of digital haunting. Her words sent a chill down my spine. The idea that Alex was using Snapchat to communicate with me was both terrifying and oddly comforting. It meant that he was still out there, somewhere, trying to reach me. But it also meant that I was entangled in something far beyond my understanding. Dr. Carter suggested conducting a seance to try and make direct contact with Alex. The thought of it made my skin crawl, but I agreed. Anything to get to the bottom of this nightmare. We scheduled the seance for the following week, giving me a few days to prepare myself for whatever might come. The night of the seance arrived, and I found myself in Dr. Carter's office once again, this time accompanied by Sarah for moral support. The room was dimly lit with candles, casting flickering shadows on the walls. Dr. Carter had set up a small table with various items, a crystal ball, a Ouija board, and an old tape recorder. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation and fear. We sat around the table, holding hands as Dr. Carter began to chant softly, calling upon the spirits to make themselves known. I felt a cold draft sweep through the room, making the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. My heart pounded in my chest as I squeezed Sarah's hand, trying to steady my nerves. Minutes passed in tense silence, the only sound the soft hum of the tape recorder. Just when I was starting to think nothing would happen, the recorder crackled to life. A faint voice emerged from the static, whispering my name. My blood ran cold as I recognized the voice. It was Alex. "Help me," the voice pleaded. "I need your help." Tears filled my eyes as I listened to Alex's desperate words. Dr. Carter's face remained calm, but I could see the intensity in her eyes. She asked Alex what he needed help with, but the recorder fell silent once again. The seance ended with more questions than answers, leaving me feeling even more unsettled. Dr. Carter assured me that the contact was a positive sign, but it offered little comfort. I returned home that night, my mind racing with thoughts of Alex and the mysterious messages. Sleep eluded me, and I spent the night staring at the ceiling, wondering what Alex needed help with and how I could possibly assist him from beyond the grave. One fateful night, as the clock struck 3 a.m., my phone buzzed violently, jolting me from sleep. I hesitated, dread pooling in my stomach, but curiosity compelled me to look. The Snapchat was unlike any before. An unsettling video of a darkened room, with Alex's voice whispering, "I need you to help me." My heart raced as I recognized the room. It was my own, the shadows shifting ominously. Panic surged through me, and I felt an overwhelming sense of urgency. The walls seemed to close in, and I could almost hear Alex's breath behind me. This was no longer a mere digital haunting. It was a call to action, leading me toward a shocking conclusion I could never have anticipated. In the video, the camera panned around the room, lingering on specific objects: my desk, my bookshelf, and finally, a small wooden box I kept on my nightstand. The box had been a gift from Alex, filled with mementos from our adventures. I hadn't opened it since his death, unable to face the flood of memories it contained. With trembling hands, I reached for the box and opened it. Inside, I found photos, concert tickets, and a small notebook. As I flipped through the pages, I noticed a series of numbers scribbled in Alex's handwriting. They didn't make any sense to me, but I had a nagging feeling they were important. I spent the next few days obsessively trying to decipher the numbers, but nothing seemed to fit. I was on the verge of giving up when I received another Snapchat from Alex. This time, it was a photo of a map with the same series of numbers written across it. Realization dawned on me. It was a set of coordinates. Fueled by a mix of fear and determination, I plugged the coordinates into my GPS. They led to a remote area on the outskirts of town, a place Alex and I had visited during one of our spontaneous road trips. The location was a small abandoned cabin in the woods, a place we had dubbed our secret hideout. I knew I had to go there no matter how terrified I was. Armed with a flashlight and a sense of resolve, I drove to the cabin, my heart pounding in my chest. The night was eerily quiet as I approached the old, dilapidated building. Memories of our time there flooded back, but they were overshadowed by the dread of what I might find. Inside, the cabin was dark and musty, the air thick with dust. I shone my flashlight around, searching for any clues. In the corner of the room, I spotted something that made my breath catch: a small, leather-bound journal. I recognized it instantly. It was Alex's. I picked up the journal, my hands shaking as I flipped through the pages. They were filled with Alex's thoughts, dreams, and sketches. But one entry stood out. It was dated a few days before his accident, and it detailed a disturbing encounter he had experienced. Alex wrote about feeling like he was being watched, about strange noises in the night, and a sense of impending doom. The last page of the journal contained a chilling message. "If you're reading this, it means I didn't make it. I need you to finish what I started." The words sent a shiver down my spine. I realized Alex had been investigating something dangerous, something that had ultimately led to his death. Determined to uncover the truth, I spent the next few weeks piecing together Alex's notes and following his trail. It led me to a dark secret that had been hidden for years, a corrupt group involved in illegal activities, the same people who had been after Alex. He had stumbled upon their secret and paid the ultimate price for it. With this knowledge, I went to the authorities, providing them with the evidence I had gathered. It wasn't easy, and I faced many obstacles, but eventually justice was served. The group was exposed and brought to justice, and I felt a sense of closure. The Snapchats from Alex stopped after that, and I knew he had found peace. It was a bittersweet victory, but I took comfort in knowing that I had helped my friend, even from beyond the grave. The experience changed me forever, leaving me with a deeper understanding of the thin veil between life and death, and the lengths we'll go to for those we love. Months have passed since that fateful night, and life has slowly returned to a semblance of normalcy. The fear and paranoia have subsided, replaced by a sense of peace and closure. I still think of Alex every day, but now the memories bring a smile to my face instead of tears. The experience left me with a profound sense of gratitude for the time we had together and the lessons I learned. It also opened my eyes to the mysteries of the supernatural and the power of love and friendship that transcends even death. I've kept Alex's journal as a reminder of the journey we shared, and occasionally I flip through its pages, reliving the memories and the bond we had. It's a bittersweet reminder of the lengths we'll go to for those we love, and the enduring power of friendship, even from beyond the grave. And while the Snapchats have stopped, I sometimes feel Alex's presence, a comforting whisper in the wind, a familiar shadow in the corner of my eye. I know he's watching over me, guiding me, and reminding me that even in the darkest of times, there's always a light to be found. Thanks for watching. Don't miss out on more spine-chilling tales. Subscribe now for weekly scares. Hit that red button and join our journey into the unknown.